Блять, только хотел снять видео. Где это пиздец?
Вылетело еще, полетело.
Russia came under a large-scale overnight drone attack last night, with Moscow and Leningrad Oblast among the areas targeted, according to Russian officials and media reports. Russian air defenses intercepted 221 Ukrainian drones across the country overnight. The Russian Defense Ministry claimed the morning after the strike. The attack reportedly caused fires on a vessel in the Primorsk port and at a Lukoil facility in Smolensk. Residents of Leningrad Oblast said the attack was one of the most massive strikes on the region since the start of the full-scale war in 2022. Around 30 drones were shot down over Leningrad Oblast, Regional Governor Alexander Drozdenko said. Drone debris crashed at separate locations in Tosno, a town 53 kilometers, 33 miles, southwest of St. Petersburg, but caused no casualties or damage, he claimed. Fragments and wreckage also landed in other villages in the region, including Vsevolozhsk, Pokrovskoye, and Uzmino. Earlier in the night, Drozdenko said that air defenses were at work over the Pushkinsky district of St. Petersburg. The attack caused a fire on a vessel in the Primorsk port, Drozdenko reported. He claimed the fire was extinguished and that there is no threat of flooding or oil spills. Drozdenko later reported that the attack caused a fire to break out at a pumping station in Primorsk. He said it was extinguished without casualties. The Primorsk port is the largest Russian oil loading port on the Baltic Sea. The drone threat in the region forced St. Petersburg's Pulkovo airport to shut down, an increasingly common procedure amid intensifying Ukrainian drone strikes. Nearly 50 flights have been disrupted or canceled due to the closure. Residents of St. Petersburg and Leningrad Oblast continue to report explosions, according to the Russian independent news channel Astra. A Ukrainian Air Force Mi-8 helicopter intercepted and downed a Russian Shahed drone. Ukrainian crews have adapted helicopters as short-range counter-UAV platforms. Flying low over contested zones, crews visually acquire small drones and engage them with onboard weapons or coax support from electronic warfare teams, while pilots use evasive positioning to avoid collateral damage. These missions are risky but can quickly neutralize surveillance and loitering threats near frontline positions. A prominent Russian political scientist has proposed sending Russian veterans of the war in Ukraine to Siberia as a way of securing a new Asian destiny for Russia. This has received a frosty response from Russian war bloggers. The proposal was made by Sergei Karaganov, the scientific director of the Faculty of World Economy and World Politics at the National Research University Higher School of Economics, and honorary chairman of the Presidium of the Council on Foreign and Defense Policy. In an article titled "Logistics for Greater Eurasia," Karaganov argues that Russia should turn its back on an ungrateful Europe and focus instead on an Asian destiny. He writes that fighters who will return from the war with the West in Ukraine should not only replenish the management class, but also get promising, highly qualified, and highly paid work, building new infrastructure in Siberia. Many of them will stay there and become Siberians, as was the case during the construction of the Trans-Siberian Railway and the Baikal-Amur main line. It was not enough for soldiers to face hardships at the front. Injuries, loss of comrades, PTSD, and years of separation from their families, children, relatives, and loved ones. Now they should be given a new task: to raise Siberia. That is, considering the enormous patriotic potential of the war heroes, their personal charisma, combat, and organizational experience, it is proposed not to use the cream of the nation in the capitals, in the best Moscow, St. Petersburg, and other places, the most prestigious and highly paid, where the Bohemians are now or in the same army, not to mention other security agencies, so that they would restore order, fight illegal migration, pass on their invaluable combat experience in schools, universities, special training courses, etc., but simply dump them far away from the decision-making centers, from the capitals, into the remote Siberian wilderness. so that they do not shine. The proles have been reclaimed. Be happy that there is a job in Siberia. Highly paid. Is that the logic? And that families should move there from their homes, and to organize compact settlements, as it was during the construction of the Trans-Siberian Railway and the Baikal-Amur main line. That's a great idea. Well, our heroic guys have already proved everything to everyone. There are no topics that are too difficult for them. There is just one question. Did you ask the people, those very heroes of the special military operation? And secondly, there is one good principle in the army. If you offer an initiative, you are the first to do it. Yuri Baranchik gives the idea a cold shoulder. If the respected Sergei Karaganov is so concerned about the veterans of the SVO, then it is logical to lead this important process. To organize a team, move to Siberia, to show from personal experience that cultivating Siberian virgin lands in the fresh, frosty air is a first-class idea. In case anyone thought that Trump might give a shit about Russia firing nearly 20 drones into a NATO country.
What's your reaction to Russian drone incursion into Poland?
Could have been a mistake. But regardless, I'm not happy about anything having to do with that whole situation. But hopefully it's going to come to an end.
Zelensky and Finnish President Alexander Stubb honored fallen Ukrainian defenders at the Wall of Remembrance in Kyiv. Finland's President Alexander Stubb has warned that Russia is deliberately seeking an escalation in Europe, citing Tuesday night's drone strikes in Poland. President Stubb was speaking after meeting with his Ukrainian counterpart Volodymyr Zelensky in Kyiv on Thursday, as he and his wife Suzanne Innes Stubb are on an official state visit to the Ukrainian capital. Russia wanted to see how far the West is willing to go, Stubb said. Now the Zapad military exercise is starting, and we are monitoring it very closely. We are ready to respond. The Zapad exercise is a Russian-Belarusian joint strategic military drill, set to be held in Belarus from the 12th to the 16th of September. The line has already been crossed, and in such a large exercise it's easy to cross it again, Stubb said, adding that the line between war and peace has been blurred. Russian Gerbera drones that flew into Poland on September 10th were found to have Iranian 4-channel CRPA jamming antennas for Talisman's satellite navigation. A photo of the Gerbera that crashed in Poland with a CRPA antenna was published by Sky News. CRPA antennas are used to counteract interference caused by electronic warfare. They are able to determine the direction from which the signal comes and thus filter out the false signal. As a rule, to successfully counter CRPA antennas, additional false signal source is required. In other words, in the case of 4-channel antennas, 5 electronic warfare systems are needed to counteract the drone in a coordinated manner. Such antennas are widely used by the Ukrainian and Russian military as part of reconnaissance and attack drones at the operational and strategic levels. The most advanced versions of Russian attack drones use 12 or 16-channel antennas made in Russia or China. However, due to their high price, cheaper Iranian 4-channel Talisman antennas or unprotected civilian modules are installed on Gerberas, which are not tasked with hitting the target accurately. These antennas are also used in drones that have an additional navigation system. In particular, similar Talisman antennas were found in the remains of a Shahed 236 drone with a thermal imaging system at the end of June 2025. Although Gerbera drones are best known for their decoy format, they are designed as multi-purpose drones. They are also known to be used as airplane-type FPV strike drones and as reconnaissance drones. To perform reconnaissance missions, the Gerberas are equipped with Chinese cameras with a 3-axis gimbal and mesh modems. As a reminder, on September 10th, about 24 Russian drones invaded Polish airspace during a large-scale missile and drone attack on Ukraine from Ukraine and Belarus. In response, Poland, together with the Netherlands, for the first time used aircraft to shoot them down. It was reported that Dutch F-35 fighters played a key role in neutralizing the drones. In early September, Dutch F-35 fighters began patrolling in Poland as part of cooperation with NATO. The aircraft are stationed at a base in the village of Krzesiny near Poznan. Analyzing the wreckage, It was found that before they were sent to Poland, the Russians had equipped the Gerberas with additional fuel tanks, which increased their range. This is what allowed the drones to reach Poland, as the flight range on a single tank is 700 kilometers.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comments section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.